Welcome to today's lesson. Today we shall be looking at biodiversity. When you hear the word biodiversity, what comes to your mind? The word bio simply means what? Life. Then diversity means different kinds coexisting together. So we'll combine the word biodiversity. We're actually looking at different life forms living together. Okay? What is classification? Classification is when you sort things according to their likeness. Okay? It is a process by which scientists group living organisms. Do you get it now? Yes. If you check, you discover that in this earth, there are millions of different living organisms. I'm talking about plants and animals, and even other sub classes. So scientists have to look for a way to be able to sort this organism for easy identification and grouping. Okay, and then the first person to study plants is Aristotle. Aristotle is a philosopher. He's a very renowned philosopher. He is a student of Plato. Okay, and Plato is also a renowned philosopher who is also a student of Socrates. So we can say Socrates taught Plato, and Plato taught Aristotle. Okay, but it is Carolus Linnaeus, who was born in Sweden around 1707, who died in 1778, that is widely known, okay, for classification or classifying living things. Okay, he was the first scientist to come up with an orderly system for classifying plants and animals. Scientists still use this system today. However, it has been improved and modified. Okay, as more and more plants and animals were discovered, scientists did their best to analyze the structure and external appearance of these living things by determining which features were similar or the same. Scientists place plants and animals into groups. The system that scientists currently use is called taxonomy. Say taxonomy. So taxonomic names are written in Latin language. Okay, so the language we use in taxonomy or the naming is called Latin language. Why? Because it is a language recognized by all biologists all over the world. So biological or taxonomy, which is a current system of naming living things, uses the Latin language. Okay, so the taxonomy system classify living things into 7 majorly. At times you see some books will tell you 8. Okay, the 8th one is called the domain, but in this lesson we adopt 7, and the 7 are the kingdom, the phylum, the class, the order, the family, the genus, and then the species. Okay, a short way to name it is say KP-Corp GS. You can say KP-Corp GS. K for kingdom, P for phylum, C for class, O for order, F for family, G for genus, and S for species. Or you can use the acronym King Philip came over for good spaghetti. Okay, King Philip came over for good spaghetti. All right, is another way you can use to remember the 7 class or the 7 group of taxonomy. Okay, now we take a brief look on how we can classify or how we carry out this classification. Look at animal. Animals are classified into vertebrate are animals with backbones, invertebrate animals without backbones. Now you can see animals without backbones are further classified. We can actually group even animals that have the same characteristics but are also different. We can also separate them further. That is what this classification is telling you now. Do you get it now? Yes, I believe you learn further. So if we go back, I said we have the kingdom, is it not? And then you have the phylum. The kingdom is divided into 5 groups. Okay, And the two largest kingdoms out of these 5 groups are the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom. The animal kingdom is Animalia, the plant kingdom is Plantae, okay? The other 3 kingdoms are the fungi kingdom, the Protista kingdom, which is also known as the Protozoa, and then you have the Monera kingdom, okay? Scientists use differences in cell structure, appearance, reproductive ability, how they move, functionality, and many other characteristics to help determine which kingdom each living thing belongs to. Okay, let's look at the animal kingdom. The animal kingdom can be further divided into animals with backbones, vertebrate, and animals without backbone, invertebrates. Some examples of vertebrate are your fish, your amphibians, your reptiles. Some examples of invertebrates are insects, arachidas, crustaceans such as crabs, mollusks such as octopus, annelids such as earthworm, echinoderms such as starfish. Now take note, all these names I'm calling that are before the bracket are their class. Okay, you can see the diagram there. All right, and then we have kingdom plant or plant kingdom. The kingdom Plantae are further divided on the following criteria. We divide them if they can circulate fluid, water through their bodies, or if they need to absorb them from the moisture that surrounds them. If they reproduce, that is by spores or by seeds, and then according to their size or stature. Okay? Plants are characterized by photosynthesis. They are the only, they are the major organisms that produce their own food using sunlight, water, carbon dioxide, okay? And they end up giving up what? Oxygen. Now let's look at fungi kingdom. Some of the most commonly known fungi are mushroom, yeasts, toadstool, and then molds. Some fungi are also used to make drugs such as penicillin and other antibiotics. Fungi range in size from single cell and microscopic to the size of a football field. Their main work is the help in decomposing dead, decay organisms. Fungi help to release nutrients back to the soil. Okay. Kingdom Protista or Protista kingdom, also known as eukaryotic cell. Protists are usually single cell organisms that live in water or other moist places, such as the bodies of animals or deep in soil. Scientists classify protists based on how they obtain nutrition. This is how they get their food, okay? And how they move. Now, protists are interesting in that they can be similar to plants, animals, or fungi. They have many different forms. Most of them, however, have animal-like characteristics. Protists are usually parasites and can cause disease and death. When we say eukaryotic, it means they are single cell, but they have a cellulose granulus, or what we call a cell nucleus. Let's look at Monera. Monera kingdom. Monera kingdom are the smallest single cell organisms. Okay, they are the most popular moneras are bacteria. Bacteria can be found almost everywhere or anywhere on earth. It can grow in very hot or very cold places. Monera cells have no nucleus, so we say they are prokaryotic. They are single-celled, but they do not have nucleus, and therefore are the simplest life forms. Okay, evolution has it that all other organisms evolved from Monera, including you and I. So it is this Monera that started the evolution process. Okay, so you can take that to remember Monera. They are the oldest life form on Earth, and thus are the ancestor of all the other types of life forms on Earth. In the phylum stage, which is the second stage of grouping, animals with exoskeleton, that is, their skeleton are outside, such as your octopus and your insect, and crabs, are part of the phylum we call arthropods or arthropoda. While in the phylum Chordata, we get the classes of animals such as mammals, amphibians, reptiles, fish, and birds. For the order, there are no conventional hard rules, okay? We use the Latin word I at times as it forms, then we use the ALES, okay? for plants, fungi, and their algae. The name of an order is written with a capital letter. Man falls under the order called primate. Okay, we fall under the order called primate. Now, for family may be divided into subfamilies. Okay, the walnut trees and hickory trees belong to the family that we call Junglandiaceae. Okay, man belong to the family of Hominidae. Okay, so use ILDAE. Okay, there are also no hard rules in this classification. And then we'll now look at the genus. Okay, the genus, also the genera, which is a plural, is used for living fossil organisms and viruses. Okay, the genus name forms the first part of the binomial species name for each species within the genus. Species are the largest group. We have about 8.7 million of two organisms that can give birth to their young ones. It's called sexual reproduction. And then we have, if we want to classify humans, the kingdom that humans belong to is the animal kingdom, which is kingdom Animalia. We belong to the phylum, not anthropod, but what? Chordata, is it not? They will not belong to the class of animals called Mammalia, mammals, okay? And they will belong to an order called primates, and a family known as Hominidae. And then we have a genus known as Homo, and then our species is called Homo sapiens. So we combine the genus and the species to get the name of the species, Homo sapiens. Watch this video and learn more from it.
5 Kingdom Classification of Organisms. Objective: to learn the 5 Kingdom Classification of living organisms. In 1969, ecologist Robert Harding Whittaker divided all living organisms into 5 categories, commonly referred to as the 5 Kingdom Classification. Kingdom Monera consists of the most primitive life forms found on Earth. These organisms are usually microscopic and unicellular, meaning they are single-celled. They have no nucleus within their cytoplasm. Bacteria, Archaebacteria, and Cyanobacteria are all members of Kingdom Monera. Kingdom Protista is next. The organisms within this kingdom are also unicellular, but they have a nucleus. Cells of this type are referred to as eukaryotes. Most members of this kingdom can, like plants, undergo photosynthesis and produce their own food, and like animals, will have locomotory structures. Most Protista are aquatic and include diatoms, algae, euglena, and protozoans such as amoeba, paramecium, and plasmodium. Kingdom Mycota, also called Kingdom Fungi, includes fungi such as yeast, mushrooms, and molds. The body of fungus is made of long, thread-like structures called hyphae. Its members can be free-living, parasitic, or symbiotic. The 4th most complex kingdom is Kingdom Metaphyta, also referred to as Kingdom Plantae, and includes multicellular plants with eukaryotic cells, means they have a nucleus. The cells of this kingdom will contain a cellulose cell wall and a green pigment called chlorophyll. Chlorophyll aids in photosynthesis, a process during which plants make their own food by utilizing sunlight. Kingdom Plantae comprises all plants, including herbs, shrubs, and trees. Finally, we reach the kingdom with the most complex organisms, Kingdom Metazoa, or Kingdom Animalia. It includes animals which are multicellular organisms. The cells of these organisms will be eukaryotic, and although they do not have a cell wall, they do have a cell membrane. All members of this kingdom have tissues and organs. Animals are heterotrophic, meaning they depend on other living things for food. Kingdom Animalia includes animals without bones such as the earthworm, insects such as the mosquito and cockroach, and animals with bones such as fish, lizards, birds, cows, and humans. Summary. The five-kingdom classification was proposed by Robert Harding Whittaker in 1969. According to the five-kingdom classification, all organisms can be divided into the categories of Monera, Protista, Mycota, Metaphyta, or Metazoa.
Welcome back. I believe with this lesson, you now know what classification is. You know the 7 ranks of classification. You know the 5 kingdom, the 2 phylum, and then the various class. And then you know how man is classified. That now brings us to the end of today's lesson. I want you to do your other assignments, and I'll see you soon.